Dear students, good morning to all. Today we are going to start the second chapter of watershed management and the second point of characteristics of watershed. In the previous lecture, we have focused on the size, shape and physiography of watershed. Today we are going to discuss the climate, drainage, land use and vegetation of the watershed. So let us see which are these characteristics and how these characteristics are important. There is a variation in the characteristics of watershed, and there are many things by which there is a differences in the characteristics of watershed. As you know, in the previous lecture we have already discussed these things. Every watershed is differ from one another, and so there is a differences in the watershed. So the important characteristics in this regard is climate. As you know that climate is having differences or variation throughout the part of the world, and definitely this rule is also applied, or this rule is also implied for the watershed even. So there are two main things in the climate, that is temperature and rainfall. And temperature and rainfall of every watershed is important characteristics of watershed. It shows variation according to the height, season, region, location, size, shape of watershed. As you know that as you go higher and higher, temperature get decreases. So this formula or this rule, this principle is also applied with the watershed. As well as season also important thing in the climate of the watershed, because in the rainy season there is a full of water, or there is availability of water in the watershed, but while as in the dry season or in the summer season there is lack or there is a scarcity of the water. As well as region wise there is a differences in the climate. If we consider, or if we are thinking the watershed of tundra region, then the climate of the tundra region is different, and the watershed in the equatorial region or the desert region is different, too much different from the tundra region. As well as the location, where it is located, whether it is located on the mountain, plain and plateau, this also decides the climate of that particular region or particular watershed. Suppose if the watershed lie in the coastal zone, the climate of that particular watershed is so different than the climate of watershed in the mountainous region. Size of the climate is also important, because there is a changes as per the size of the watershed, and there is the changes in the climate even. One small sized watershed and big size or large size watershed have differences in their climates. Shape of watershed is also important, because how is the shape that determines the climate of watershed. Because elongated shape like this, elongated means in a linear length or in a linear shape. Elongated shape of watershed is there, which experiences many climatic conditions, while as rectangular or square shaped climate shows unique type of climate. So this determines by that particular shape of the watershed. But the main climatic character is flood and drought. The severe and heavy rainfall leads to the flood, while a severe scarcity of rainfall leads to the drought. If we are thinking of the climate characteristics of watershed, obviously there is a main important characteristics of watershed, that is flood and that even a drought. If the heavy rainfall occurs over there in the particular watershed, which helpful to occurrence of the flood, while as if there is a drought condition, that may prevails for the severity or the scarcity of the waterfall. This makes hydrologic imbalance, and obviously it helps to the hydrologic imbalance. Stream flow based watershed vulnerability assessment is challenging due to the uncertainties in hydraulic projection. Example, watershed in deserts and equatorial region. Climate determines the vulnerability of watershed. If it is favorable, it declines the vulnerability. Vulnerability is important aspect in regards of climate of any watershed, because if climate is suitable, climate is favorable, there it declines the vulnerability. And if climate is the harsh, as like a equatorial region, it makes more vulnerability. So these climate characteristics of any watershed is very important. So far the characteristics of watershed are concerned. Second characteristic of watershed is drainage. As you know that drainage is nothing but all the things, all the channels, all the flow streams throughout the part of the basin. It includes stream orders, stream number, stream length, stream factor, bifurcation ratio, basin geometry, form factor, shape factor, and elongation ratio, and drainage density. Stream order wise total number of streams, total length, mean length, length ratios, and weighted mean stream length ratio. So what it means? It means that these all points include into the characteristics of drainage of every watershed. And I have selected one basin over here, that is Kadwa River. Particularly whenever I have studied this Kadwa River or Kadwa drainage basin in detail, I come to know that there are sixth order streams, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So SU means stream order streams. This is stream order stream. The rise of the Kadwa River is in the Kem mountain, which lie in the Dindori Tehsil, and it flows towards east, and there are many stream orders which meets to the main channel to the Kadwa, and that's why there is six stream order. NU is there, number of streams. How many number of streams are there? So number of first order streams are 3828, second order streams are 946, third order streams are 180, fourth order streams are 29, fifth order streams are 3, while as sixth order stream is only one, that is Kadwa, and which performs as the main channel. And total number of streams are there 4987. So likewise we can calculate all the things, stream length of particular first order, second order, bifurcation of particular ratio, that is bifurcation ratio means the number of first order stream divided by this number. So bifurcation ratio is calculated over here, and LUR, stream length ratio, this is LUR, LU divided by NU, that is calculated over here, and LUR is also calculated over here. So this characteristics includes into the any watershed, that is drainage. Land use. The most important characteristics is land use. Watershed is used for many purposes. First and foremost use of watershed is for agriculture. As you know that watershed development or watershed management is the main thing for the agriculture, and that's why we are taking efforts to do the watershed management. Not only agriculture, but settlement, transportation, barren land, pasture, and wetland is also there. Means as we do the development, we have all these things. We develop settlements, we develop transportation paths, roads, as well as somewhere there is a barren land, wherever we can't do the development. Somewhere there is a pasture, and somewhere there is a wetland. And if watershed have forest area, lumbering and grazing activity also found in watershed. Perennial rivers provide aquatic activity like fishing, transportation, and other. Land use is completely depend on the stage of the development of watershed. Example, the watersheds in Africa continent have less land uses, while as watersheds in developed continents have many land uses. Means what? If the continent of the if the area of watershed is developed, it comes under many activities of by the human being, and if the watershed is not completely developed, then it have less land uses. Means what? That area comes under the use, that area comes under any activity of by the human being, and that's why the land use get increase over there. So land is also one important characteristics of watershed. Next is vegetation. Vegetation available in watershed can affect channel formation, because as you know that forest or trees act as a barrier in the path of water flows, and trees and fine stemmed vegetation such as grasses controls how water flows, sediment deposition and channel roughness. If there is a trees and plants in the path of the channel, automatically the water get stuck over there and get percolate in the underground, and that's why it creates some barrier in the path of that particular channel or particular water. The relatively dense forest available along channels form in response to available moisture in watershed. Trees on channel banks and within channels can play an important role in controlling morphological adjustment of channels by altering resistance to erosion and affecting flow hydraulics. Vegetation can act as a stabilizing force. I have already told you that whenever there is a trees, plants which act as a barrier in the channel or in the flow of water on the floodplain and along channel banks, roots provide a network of reinforcement to bind the soil matrix and increase the soil strength. There is a wide range of rooting depth among many species. The roots of woody vegetation may extend several feet, while the rooting depth of some grasses may not exceed several inches. The range of rooting characteristics leads to a range in the stabilizing force of riparian plants. Example, the trees in equatorial area and the grassland have differences in the lengths of the roots. As vegetation is important factor in the characteristics of watershed, this thing is very important. Roots determine the barrier of the intensity of the barrier. Means what? If the roots penetrate too much deep in the ground, they can act as a cohesive factor for the soil particles and even for the water. They do not allow water to go ahead, and that's why it makes problem to go ahead for the water and channel that area or that watershed automatically have a good water underground water level. And so all these things are important in the aspect of vegetation. So this is all about the 4 characteristics of watershed. So today we stop here. Thank you.